But I also want to talk about our family of origin, if you will. Our dad is from Uganda, so he came here in like 1978, 77 to play soccer at Walsh. He met Mom. The year is, I guess, irrelevant.
It is irrelevant, but it's 72, I think.
Yeah. So Dad's from Uganda. He came here. He met Mom. Started a family. And here we come, right? Like we're here, but we come from different backgrounds. Where Mom is from the South, but grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Dad's from Uganda, and so both grew up Catholic. We ended up having a Catholic background. Went to Catholic school, a private school. But at that time, at least where we were at, position in Canton, Ohio, it was a predominantly white culture.
Correct.
And in light of all the things that we are seeing right now, I mean, we've seen from the Ahmaud Arbery's to the George Floyd's to the Jacob Blake's now. I mean, there is just a lot going on. I kind of wanted to just hear your thoughts on what it was like for you as a black man growing up in white culture and what that would mean maybe for some students who can relate to it. But if they can't, just to hear what it was like for people like us in our situation, and we could just sort of tag team and go back and forth. But what was it like for you? Like, what were some of your experiences?
Well, I can't necessarily say that it was all bad because we had an amazing time.
Yes.
We have some of the best friends and family members that we can consider friends, or friends that we can consider family, I should say, that anyone could really ask for. I don't really feel like I experienced a sense of bullying or a sense of rejection in a way until we got to high school, and it was just a different ball game. I can think of multiple conversations that I had with Mom specifically. Said, "Mom, send us to Glen Oak. Please, just send us to a public school because we need to be around people that are like."
But you never. I don't.
Way. But
you told her that, but you never expressed that part of it. You never I never understood the.
I never mentioned it because how do you explain that to your mother? Now, in the same note, Mom knew. Mom knew what we were going through, so in her mind, she was prepping us for today. If you think about it, we're here today, being able to articulate everything that may have happened, but also to say it doesn't last that long, and we are in charge of our own emotions, of our own thoughts. And even though some people might not accept the way we are, that's okay.
But I think that was, I mean, you can piggyback off this, but that was, and I've said this before, I said this with the George Floyd incident, that was one of the most challenging things was the acceptance. Correct. Because I felt like it was like you're so torn. Like we couldn't be ourselves in the black community, couldn't be ourselves in the white community. So we didn't fit in. So I remember multiple times hearing, I've heard the N-word, I don't know how many times, different, racist jokes. And it's, after a while you almost become like desensitized to it, like, oh, here we go. Another joke, but
again, that's, I think Mom just prepped us for what was real. At the end of the day, situations like this are happening. They're just there. So we just experienced it at an earlier age than most would, and some people never do.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of what we went through prepared us for the men that we are today. So I can't necessarily say that it was all bad.
Because it wasn't. And I don't. Yeah, and I hope that's not the message that's being portrayed at
Absolutely.
all. But it was very difficult.
It was.
In a lot of ways. But we had, some great times. It just happens to be that we never talked about some of the hurt behind the scenes that maybe even some of our closest friends understood or even really would have possibly understood.
Correct.
At that time. I don't know how much we tried.
And you can kind of think of different times, but one of the times that actually sticks out, I guess if we're giving an example, and this was actually after high school. Has anybody ever told you, man, you are so well spoken?
Yeah.
And it's like, for what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
I'm just speaking.
Yeah.
So what do you mean I'm well spoken?
It's
and
the inference.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the unconscious piece to it that you don't know, that you don't see, and also I'm on the phone a lot with my job. A lot. That is my job, to be on the phone. So a lot of times when people put a face to a name, they say, "Oh, you're John?" Okay, I didn't know that, and it makes me chuckle now. But in the past, it's just something that you just have to mentally prepare for.
I have no, and you're saying, but I have in some settings when I was younger, I would not talk. I would not talk in front of black people out of fear of just being ripped apart because of who I was.
Correct.
Like I was like, but I didn't. I'm just talking. I'm just having a conversation. I just want to do me, and do me. But it wasn't honest. Truthfully, without getting too like it's like spiritual. Even this is a spiritual matter. When I met the Lord, that's when I think a whole new confidence came out of it. It was just like, you know what? I don't care. Like I literally do not care. I'm just gonna do me. I'm gonna evolve. I still have insecurities that creep in, but I think it's been a journey. But I'm gonna ask you this in regards to some of the more recent situations. When you think about what are some next steps, or what can we do? Like we've seen the posting, we've seen there's been diversity training. We're seeing now the NBA, the MLB, they're taking stands. For me, I've been a big proponent of we can post all we want, we can boycott,
Correct.
we can protest, but we have to have tangible next steps. Like what is the solution to sort of to get rid of this and eradicate racism, because it's going to happen. But what are those next steps that are real, so we can actually take those and keep moving forward?
Well, I think we need to have more of a mainstream educational platform. A lot of people just don't know Black history, and I'm sorry. I know we have Black History Month, but how much time and effort do we invest into really knowing what Black history was? Because Black history goes as far back as any American history, any piece of American history. It's 400 years. So we can learn more on that side. On the flip side, we can teach our children. Yeah. Now, what we can teach our children is have your voice, have your thought, feel the way that you feel. And if something doesn't feel right, it's okay to feel that way. Even, and I think you spoke to this in one of your messages. It's okay to feel and ask questions. Ask your parents questions. Mom, Dad, why did you think this way? Or why did you say that? When we start having that piece of the conversation, that's when things will change. But as an African American community, education is key. Talking to people who have influence is going to be a big step.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes, and we'll see where all this.
Again, let's just see where it goes. There's so many more details that are coming out, and at the end of the day, we're all here, and we're all Christians. So, well, not
yes,
I know you know what I mean. But from a Christian standpoint, I don't see it any other way. I need to focus on living a Christly life, and everything else will follow.
Well, do you think you made this analogy when we talked about doing something like this? I'm married to a white woman, mixed kids. You're about to get married to someone who is not African American or black or Black American. But you talked about the idea that in order to help us understand that literally, like we are equals in race, like literally equals in race. You talked about this analogy of the mold and the wall.
Yes.
So to explain that for the people that are listening and help them understand, if we can get this and we understand it to be this way, perhaps this may help us take some next steps in the future.
So at my house, recently had what I thought was a mold issue. So I had the landlords, and I'm renting since I moved here. But I had the landlords come in and just take a look and look under the sink and just see what's going on. And at the end of the day, they decided that, maybe we just need to paint over this strip. There's a water leak, but maybe we just need to paint over the baseboard. It won't look like there's a leak. It might smell like it, but we just don't need to handle that right now. Well, at the end of the day, when we continue to just paint the baseboards in life, all that's going to happen is that mold is going to fester, and it's going to turn into what could have been an easy problem to fix. It's going to turn into a massive, massive problem. And over 400 years, I believe that mold has just been festering and festering and festering. So we just got to figure out a way to get in these walls and get that mold out. That's it.
Well said. As we close out this segment, I want to ask you this. If there's a student watching right now, I mean, put yourself back at 16, 17, maybe even 10, 11, 12. What would you say to them, not only to a student who has maybe felt like they don't fit because of their skin color or because with this race issue, but also to people that are watching who are not people of color that would give them sort of like, okay, that's how I can help. So it's not just, we're not going to attack people who are not of color. That's just crazy. But what can we say to them, but at the same time, people that are quote unquote like us to help us move?
Well, at the end of the day,
direction.
this message is only going to be heard by people who want to hear it. So there's only so much you can do when you're having these conversations. But from a standpoint of teaching children, I did speak to this, but if you're feeling rejected, if you're feeling like there's bullying going on and you don't know how to explain it, you don't know how to talk, understand and know that there are people, especially people within the church, people that are adults that know exactly what you've been through, maybe not to the T, but they can sympathize and they can help you through it. So communication is so important, especially for children in today's age. I couldn't imagine having Facebook, couldn't imagine having a cell phone for that matter at that age. So making sure that all avenues are open for these children is very important. And for people that don't think or see us a certain way,
or understand the issue, that there is an issue, or maybe want to address that there is an issue.
I can't necessarily speak to them. All I could say is a time will come where this issue is going to keep creeping up. And the shock value is going to continue to rise until we say, oh, that's what you meant. Oh, this is where we're going. So
That's good. We can keep.
I could go on forever. But
they're gonna get a chance to discuss this here in their groups in a little bit. But we have an entire mini-series that's coming out on YouTube called "The Matters of Black Lives." And so what we want to do is show you just a snippet of what's ahead over these next few weeks. So take a look.
One of my first experiences of racism.
I have experienced blatant racism.
Being a black female in Henderson, I've experienced like a passive form of racism.
I think a lot of times, through all of this, I remember in the beginning people were saying, this is like a political problem. And I was like, I don't know about you, but this is racism. This is not a political problem. This is a Jesus problem, a sin problem. And I think when the church, as we lead this out, I pray that the church at large will see this is something we need to preach about. This is something we need to inform people about, because I think that we're all black up here. We all have different experiences, and it's so much diversity even up here right now.